Yes, sir. Sir, very happy morning to all. Sir, happy Pongal to each and every one, my dear lovable students. This video is for those who are going to write your group number 2 in the coming Jan examinations, my dear lovable students. I believe that your costing preparations are going very well because at this point of time, we are supposed to do the costing sums. I already said many times in my videos and also in the lecture, this is what the costing subject is all about, which can be classified into 5 parts or 5 category, 5 buckets. Part number 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Part number 1, sir, cost sheet, a very important area for exam. Number 2 is cost accounting system. In that, reconciliation is very important. And process costing, my dear lovable students, this will come for 25 mark in exam. If you are studying joint product and byproduct, it is an extension of the process costing. So, if you are preparing that chapter, this is the ideal order, joint product and byproduct. Then we can come with the material and labor, 2 elements of cost. Sir, this will come for nearly 15 mark in exam, minimum I am saying. And with regard to the third slot, we are having overhead. I am continuing with the elements of cost, which is material, labor and overhead. And read with ABC costing, because immediately after overhead, we have to do the ABC costing. Then the purpose of overhead and the ABC costing is to find out the cost per unit, which is nothing but the stock valuation. Overhead is saying that use the absorption basis to value the stock, whereas ABC is saying that use the activity base to value the stock. Fine. This read with unit costing and the batch costing, because again a stock valuation chapter. This is the purpose of valuing the stock valuation criteria. From this, you will get a 20 mark slot, 20 mark area, because ABC is sure short at 10 mark area for exam. Coming to the decision making chapter, my dear lovable students, decision making like standard costing, marginal costing, budget and budgetary control. This is the highest area for exam, 25 to 30 marks. And the last miscellaneous portion like service costing, which is for service sector, and also job costing and the theory portions. Sir, this is another 20 mark area for exam. So nearly a 20-25 game. Out of this, according to me, cost sheet is a very important part for exam. I hope that your preparations are going very well. If you are preparing, I just want to give you a quick assignment on the YouTube. You know what is the quick assignment? I just tabulated the RTP, MTP1 and MTP question from the cost sheet. This is like an online test or online question paper. What you have to do is, you have to just do this question. And you have to check by yourself, my dear lovable students. Following information is available from the books of YSPP Limited for the current year ended 31st March. Raw material purchased, right inward, wages paid to factory worker, contribution made towards employee provident fund and employee state insurance, higher charges paid for hiring specific equipment. This is specific equipment. Amount paid for power and fuel, amount paid for purchase of molds and pattern, life is equivalent to 4 years production. Job charges paid to job worker, lease rent paid for production asset, depreciation on various items has been given, factory building, office building, plant and machinery, delivery vehicles, salary paid to supervisors, repair and maintenance paid for plant and machinery, sales office building, insurance premium paid for plant and machinery, factory building, stock of raw material and WIP, expense paid for quality control check activity, salary paid to quality control staff, research and development costs paid for improvement in production process, expenses paid for administration of factory work, salary paid to functional managers such as production control, finance and accounts, sales and marketing, salary paid to general manager, packing costs for primary packing necessary to maintain the quality, this is primary packing, for redistribution of finished goods, fees paid to auditors, fees paid to independent director, closing stock has been given and opening stock has been given. Due to delay in picking up cargo from the port, YSPP Limited had to pay 15,000 as demurrage in the month of March. From the above data, you are required to prepare statement of cost of YSPP for the year ended 31st March showing prime cost, factory cost, cost of production and cost of sales. This is an 8 mark expected area for exam. And as we all know that without cost sheet, there will not be any question paper. My dear lovable students, it's a 10 mark weightage area for exam. Sir, are you going to solve this question? No, sir. I have solved so many questions, sir, in the class. I am not interested to solve the question, but I want you to solve the question. You to check yourself that where you are going wrong. Sir, which is nothing but, sir, direct material plus direct labor plus direct expense is equal to prime cost. For example, if you are going to manufacture this pen is called as cost object. This pen is called as cost object. You tell me, in order to manufacture this pen, we need material? Yes, sir. Can that material expressed in per unit? Yes, sir. Then it is become a direct material. Then, my dear lovable students, sir, by material alone, we can't manufacture the product. We need some labor. For example, if you are manufacturing a shirt, we need cloth and also the tailor. If you are manufacturing the pen, we need laborers to work on it. So that's what direct labor. Sir, there are certain direct expenses which cannot be classified as direct material or direct labor. Actually, internationally, there is no concept of direct expenses. Only direct material and direct labor are only there in costing. But in India, we are following a concept called as direct expenses, my dear lovable students. What the direct expenses means? An expense which cannot be called it as direct material and direct labor. Sir, can you say some examples for that? For example, my dear lovable students, in this question itself, higher charges paid for hiring specific equipment. If that word specific is there in this question, it is for that particular job. Without that, I can't manufacture. So it's a direct expenses. Then job charges paid to job worker. It is a direct expenses, my dear lovable students. Amount paid for power and fuel. It is a direct expenses. For example, there are two companies are there. One company is manufacturing certain product. For example, I am manufacturing this pen. Why the shape or size of this pen is like this? Because my holding company who are situated outside India said that I have to manufacture pen like this. So for every pen I have manufactured in India, I have to pay a royalty on production. I have to pay a royalty on production. Is it direct material? No, that royalty I can't see here. Is it a direct labor? No, I can't see on this pen. So, without paying royalty to my holding company, I can't manufacture such product. So, such an item will be called it as direct expenses. That means prime cost. So, in that list, my dear lovable students, you have to go and check what and all are direct material, what and all are direct labor, what and all are direct expenses. You will get the prime cost. You will get the prime cost. Add factory overhead. Why, sir, add factory overhead? Understand the cost sheet as, sir, the cost what we are incurring. As a businessman, if you have to manufacture a pen, you have to incur the cost. Correct? So, my dear lovable students, cost incurring, that is called as flow of cost. That is called as flow of cost. Nothing. Are you going to manufacture a pen? Yes, sir. In order to manufacture a pen, I need what? Direct material. I need what? Direct labor. I need what? Direct expenses. I will call this as prime cost. Why? Because this is the primary cost which I am incurring. Without incurring this prime cost, I can't manufacture the pen. This prime cost, sir, are unit wise readily available. I know how much is the raw material I need to manufacture one pen. What is the labor hours and what is the rate per hour? Sir, I need as per the direct labor. How much royalty per pen I have to pay? I know that's what direct expenses. So all these are variable cost. All these are directly linked to production. If production increases, number of units increases. If production decreases, number of total variable cost decreases. So that's what prime cost. Are you all really with me? So my dear lovable students, where you will manufacture the pen? In Rhoda? No, you need a place. So in costing, what they are saying, no, for the purpose of cost flow, the place classified into three category. In three places you will incur the cost. In three places you will incur the cost. Number one is your factory, my dear lovable students, is your factory. Number two is your admin. And number three is selling and distribution. Selling department. These are the three departments you will be having. One is factory, number two is admin, and number three is selling and distribution. Very simple. Inside this factory, this is the place where, my dear lovable students, we will manufacture the pen. We will manufacture the pen. That means factory is like kitchen in a home where we will manufacture the food. The same way, in an organization, in factory, we will be, manufacturing the pen. That factory, inside that factory, my dear lovable students, you can see three places. You can see three places. The first place is the stores. That is where you will keep all the raw material. That's what in the cost accounting system, we will draw stores ledger control account. Stores ledger control account. My dear lovable students, after that stores, you will be having work area. Work area is like the kitchen where the production will be happening. Production will be happening. Then, my dear lovable students, you will be having go down where you will keep all the goods. All the goods you will be manufactured. So this is stores, this is warehouse, and this is go down. Fantastic. So I am going to manufacture a pen, which is nothing but direct material plus direct labor plus direct expense is equal to prime cost. Add factory overhead, man. What is this factory overhead? Now I am here, factory overhead. So in this place, my dear lovable students, in the factory work area, I will be incurring the current bill and I will also pay rent, which are, one is variable cost and other is fixed cost. One is variable overhead and other is fixed overhead. That's what total factory overhead. Are you all really with me what I am talking to you? So that's why after prime cost, I have added the factory overhead. Then I will be getting the gross factory cost. I will be getting the gross factory cost. Why are you calling it as gross factory cost? Because, my dear lovable students, entire units which I have introduced would not have completed during this year itself, during this period itself. So add opening stock of WIP. Add opening stock of WIP less closing stock of WIP. This you will get the net factory cost. The valuation of opening stock of WIP and closing stock of WIP is called as process costing, my dear lovable students, is called as process costing. Are you all getting it? So no need to by heart that cost sheet format and all. First I am going to manufacture a pen. In order to manufacture a pen, I need direct material. I have to employ the workers to work on it. That's what direct labor. Sir, sometimes some expenses may not be direct material, may not be direct labor, but without incurring that expenses, I can't complete the production. That's what direct expenses. You will get the prime cost. Okay, fine. That is a primary cost. That's why it is shortly called as prime cost. Sir, where I will do the production? Now, you have to picturize this. I will do the production in my factory. So, add factory overhead. Inside the factory, I have to pay current bill. For the factory, I have to pay rent. So, I have to call that as overhead. Overhead means indirect expenses, my dear lovable students, which cannot be expressed as per unit. You tell me, is the rent what we are paying for the factory is expressed as per unit? No. If there is zero production in the factory also, we have to pay the rent. And even current bill also is like that only, no. Because the current bill, lights and fans are not per unit basis. If it is per unit basis, you have to account it under the direct expenses head. Comfortable? So, you will get the gross factory cost. Do you think that whatever material, labor, expenses, factory overhead you introduce would have 100% completed this period itself? Never. Sometimes we will be having closing WIP. Current period's closing WIP will become next period's opening WIP. So, my dear lovable students, add opening stock of WIP and less closing stock of WIP. We will get the net factory cost. We will get the net factory cost. Now the products are ready. The pen is ready. I have done a mass production. My dear lovable students, in that pen, if we forgot to put the nib or if we forgot to put the covering properly, customer will reject the product. No, that's why to that net factory cost, we are adding QWrap minus scrap. QWrap minus scrap. Tell me, QWrap minus scrap. QWrap minus scrap. What is this QWrap? Which is quality control. I have to ensure the quality of the pen what I have manufactured. Then research expenses. Sometimes I would have incurred the research expenses. That is a direct expenses which I have incurred to find out the product, not to manufacture the product. If it is to manufacture the product, I would have accounted under direct expenses. But since I have done that research only, I understood that, okay, fine, I will not produce pencil, I will produce pen that took this type of pen with this color and with this shape. So that's what research. And sir, next one, administration overhead related to production. I'm having factory, no. So I have to do the administration work of the factory. How many employees are working? How much wages I paid, how much time they have worked, whether I have paid the bonus under Halsey system or Rowan system, all those things I have to take care, my dear lovable students. Administrative. And sir, I will be incurring primary packing. I will be incurring primary packing. There are two packings are there. One is primary packing and the secondary packing. So my dear lovable students, I may incur the primary packing. Primary packing, sir, without primary packing, I can't sell the product. I can't sell the product. Primary packing. Sir, surely if there is production, there will be normal loss. That normal loss will be scrapped. That's what in process costing, we have studied that cost per unit is equal to total process cost minus scrap value of the normal loss. So any scrap is an income, which is a direct income related to production. So that should be reduced and I will be getting the net cost. That's what QWrap minus scrap. Quality control expenses. Without quality, sometimes, sir, some pen and all, you know, refill potrukka matanga. Quality control. Quality control. Then research. Then administration or related to production. And the primary packing. Surely, if there is production, there will be normal loss. And that normal loss will realize some income that has to be reduced, my dear lovable students. So, net factory cost plus QWrap minus scrap, I will get the cost of production. I will get the cost of production. This is the cost I have incurred to produce the total products. Pen, comfortable? Cost of production. Up to this, getting the understanding? So, my dear lovable students, to that cost of production, if I add opening stock of finished goods. Why, sir? Look at here. Sir, this is factory. From the stores, I have taken direct material and I will not keep my labor in the stores and all, right, sir? Sir, direct labor and I will incur the direct expenses. I will get the prime cost. So this is where it is happening. Prime cost, my dear, which is direct material, direct labor, direct expense will give the prime cost. Add factory overhead. It will happen in the work area. Factory overhead. You will get the gross factory cost. In this factory, I will be having opening WIP and closing WIP, my dear lovable students. I will add the opening stock of WIP because that was opening during this particular period, but that would have completed during this period. And my dear lovable students, I will reduce the closing WIP because that much cost I have incurred, but the units has not been completed. So I just want the fully completed units. That's why I am adding the opening stock of WIP and closing stock of WIP. Its valuation is taken care by the process costing. Fantastic to the core. So now I am in the work area only. So if I add that, I will get the net factory cost. To that, I should add the QRAP. Here only, I will be incurring the QRAP minus scrap. Fantastic to the core, sir. Fantastic to the core. Now, I'm coming to the next area called as go down. Inside go down, what I will keep? I will keep the finished goods, sir. So, I will add opening stock of finished goods. That means, sir, for example, 10 units I have produced during this period. Already 2 units has been produced during the last period and which has not been sold. That means I will get the COGAS, cost of goods available for sale. Maximum I can sell 12 units. Maximum I can sell 12 units. That's what COGAS, cost of goods available for sale. Minus closing stock of finished goods. Closing stock of finished goods. That means, my dear lovable students, I will get the cost of goods sold. I will get the cost of goods sold. That means, out of 12 units, if you are saying that 4 units are still with you, you have sold how many units? 8 units. You have sold 8 units. What is its cost? Because it will be in the value. Fantastic to the core. Now, I came out of this area. I came out of my godown, my dear lovable students. So shall we start? Can we manufacture a pen? Which is direct material, direct labor, direct expenses will give you prime cost. And now, sir, I am in the factory overhead. We will get the gross factory cost. Inside factory, opening stock of WIP will be there. First, we would have completed that. So, opening stock of WIP minus out of current year unit introduced in process costing, entire thing would not have been completed this time. That's why we are reducing the closing stock of WIP. You will get the net factory cost. Now the pen has came out, but you have to check the quality. So quality control cost. Sir, how you have decided that this pen only has to be manufactured? Sir, add research cost. Now entire factory, the battalion has to be controlled by some person. That is called as administrative overhead related to production. And after this pen, you have to do certain primary packing. Then only it is, sir, marketable. So add primary packing. Surely when there is production, without normal loss, we can't produce anything. That's why scrap value, it's an income. You have to reduce it. Comfortable, sir? Then what you will be getting, my dear lovable students? You will be getting the, sir, cost of production. Fine, from the work area, the pen came out. To where it will go? It will directly go to the godown. It will go and sit in the godown. Inside godown, already last periods, sir, closing stock will be there. That is a current period's opening stock. So opening stock plus the current cost of production will become COGAS, cost of goods available for sale. So that is a maximum I can sell during this period. But after the end, I am having still closing stock. That means if I am having 12 units, if I sold 4 units, 8 units are still available with me. Comfortable, sir. Fantastic, sir. Cost of what, man? Goods sold. Now, to that cost of goods sold, add general administration overhead. The next department. General administration overhead. General administration overhead. My dear lovable students. Super. Add selling overhead. Super, sir. Add distribution overhead. Fantastic, sir. distribution overhead. So you will be getting, sir, after the general administration overhead and selling and distribution overhead, you will get the cost of sales. This is the total cost I have incurred in order to manufacture this pen, in order to sell this pen, in order to reach the pen to the customer. I will not sell at cost of sale. I will sell at a profit. Then I will get the sales, my dear lovable students. So by this chapter, we can achieve the stock valuation. What is the cost per unit of one pen which I have manufactured? And also the profit computation. Sir, how much profit I have earned or I have, sir, got because of manufacture of one pen. That's what profit computation is all about. Sir, with this background, you just think just one thing, freight inward. It is a direct expenses related to purchase of the raw material. Already we are having the first one, the first term, direct material consume. In that direct material consume, you park this item. Sir, depreciation on, look at here, various depreciation they have given. Factory building. Factory building means, sir, factory overhead. Office building means administration overhead. Plant and machinery, where plant and machinery will be there? In the factory. So factory overhead, my dear lovable students. Delivery vehicle. Delivery vehicle, it is selling and distribution overhead. Super, sir. Fantastic, sir. Sir, you look at here. Expenses relating to quality control check activity, which is QRAP minus scrap. Quality. Salary paid to quality control staff, QRAP minus scrap. Research and development costs paid for improvement in the production process. It is QRAP minus scrap. Expenses paid for administration of factory work, which is administration overhead related to production, QRAP minus scrap. My dear lovable students, sir, fees paid to auditor, they are part of admin. Fees paid to independent directors, they will take the decision, so they are also part of administration overhead. So what you are supposed to do is, with this background, write this question by your own. Surely you will go through here or there, 1 or 2 points miss. That's what I need. That's what I need. And you have to inform me in the comment session that how many of you got the right answer, where you went wrong and all. Sir, where we will check the answer? Don't worry, man. Below it that your answer has been pasted. So after you do, don't, sir, just see the video. After you do, you will, sir, commit a mistake. Then you update me. One more question for you from MTP2. From the following data, calculate the administration cost, selling cost and distribution cost. Rent paid for factory building. So we are in factory. Salary paid to office staff, office and administration. Fees paid to auditor. Salary paid to sales manager. Vehicle hire charges paid for directors. Sir, wages paid to workers engaged in storing goods at sales depot. Traveling allowance paid to sales staff. Cost paid for secondary packing, not primary packing. QRAP, that is primary packing. Secondary packing should come under selling and distribution expenses. Electricity bill paid for sales office. Depreciation on goods delivery vehicle. Bonus paid to sales staff for achieving target. Fees paid to independent director. This is a 6 mark simple takeaway for you, my dear lovable students. Try by your own and answer is available here. Inform me, my dear lovable students. And the last one is cost sheet. RTP MCQ question, 2 mark MCQ they have tested. Standalone MCQ. What they want you know? Cost of sales they themselves given. Stock of raw material opening they have given. Direct wages, which is direct material plus direct labor plus direct expenses, direct wages given. Higher charges paid for plant, salary to office staff, maintenance of office building, depreciation of delivery van, warehouse charges, stock of raw material, which is closing stock of raw material, realizable value on the scrap. On the realizable value of scrap, we have to minus it. Factory overhead are 20% of the prime cost. 20% of the prime cost. So prime cost you will get first. That into 20% you will get the prime cost. You have to find out the raw material purchase with the help of statement of cost. You tell me what is the answer. The answer has been attached after you try the question. then you will start NSR getting superb. And the last question, expected question for exam. I am expecting this question for this exam, which is cost sheet with multiple products. One cost I will be incurring for two products. IC Limited manufacture two type of phone cover. One is plastic phone cover and another is silicon phone cover. Cost data relating to manufacturing of both the phone cover. Direct material this much, direct wages this much, production overhead this much, total this much. Other information, that is how to bifurcate the expenses between two products has been given. Direct material cost per unit of silicon phone cover was twice that of plastic phone cover. So you can take X and 2X, you can try. Direct wages per unit of plastic phone cover, 60% of those for silicon phone cover. Production overhead per unit at the same rate for both the type of phone cover. Administrative overhead being part of cost of production was 50% of the production overhead. Selling cost and selling price of silicon phone cover were 8 and 140 per unit respectively. Number of units silicon phone cover sold is 90,000. This is what produced. You are required to prepare a cost sheet for silicon phone cover and profit per unit and the total. The answer has been attached below, my dear lovable students. What you are supposed to do is you have to spend your 1 hour to 1.5 hour of your time with the cost sheet. These are relevant RTP and MTP of this time. So my dear lovable students, what I need is, if you are trying, you will understand where you are going wrong. If I explain, you will never commit a mistake. Once you commit a mistake, you will learn something, sir, very good for the examination. I believe that this quick revision and this question compilation of the current RTP is useful. If yes, and if more students are needed such quick revisions, if you inform me by way of, sir, comments, I am interested to do more chapters, if that is the case. So I am wishing you all the very best for the coming examination. Prepare very well. Follow the timetable. Sit and do the question. We'll meet at the appropriate time. Till that, thank you and bye-bye from me.